Hi, this is John Stacy for This Week at GAMA. It is the week of Monday, March 24th. I'm actually heading off to DC this afternoon. Me and a few GAMA staff members on the road, share about you what's happening. I'm heading off to Washington, DC as part of a three-day advocacy fly-in with several hundred other association leaders, hosted by the American Society of Association Executives. GAMA is a member of this association for associations. But we scheduled meetings for 3 days with elected officials, congressmen and senators, talking about a host of issues, including tariffs and product train disruptions caused by tariffs, as well as some other things that are happening. And so I'll be in DC for part of the week for that. Our education manager, David, last week he was at the Proto ATL, at the prototyping conference in Atlanta. But this week he's heading to Baltimore for the Unpub Festival. He's part of a panel presentation on Thursday with our creator director, Matt Fantastic, talking about how creators can be active with GAMA and helps to boost and help their business side of the equation. And then finally, Brian will be on the road this week as well. Our member services director, he is heading off to WonderCon on the other side of the country, while David and I are in the DC Baltimore area. Brian will be out in Southern California at WonderCon. This week, participating in 2 industry panels talking about GAMA and about how people should be active with us as an association for the industry. And so if you're at any of these events, make sure you check out either David or Brian and catch up with them. Or if you're in DC, I'll be around if you want to meet with me. I'm going to be actually touring a couple of game stores while I'm there, meeting some members, as well as meeting the elected officials. And so hopefully you'll catch up with the staff while we're on the road this week. Second up, we did announce the results from our board of directors election, which ended last week, as well as our team retail officers. And so I want to share here, if you might have missed that announcement, who was elected. As you know, GAMA is made up of 6 divisions, and each division has 2 members on our board of directors. 5 of those divisions elect their representatives directly, while Team Retail has a slightly different approach. They have officers of 7 officers, and among those officers, they decide who's going to represent them on the board of directors. So every 2 years, the terms are 2 years on the board of directors, and so every year we have people either rolling up or rolling off. And so we had a number of positions up this year. So for the publisher, was Meredith Placco from Steve Jackson Games was elected to be the director for 2 years. This is from 25 through 27. In the creators, Drew Worley from Worley Good Games was reelected for a second term on the board. Actually, it's his first full term. He did serve a 1-year term prior to being reelected to the board. In production, Eric Price was elected to his 3rd term to the board with Major Games Factory. Media and events, Monica Rasso was also elected to their 3rd term on the board of directors with Meeples at Sea. And then lastly, in the wholesale division, we actually had 2 openings. One director was rolling off, another one left early. And so we elected 2 new directors for the wholesale division, that being Tiffany Reed with Southern Hobby Distribution and Danny O'Neill with Mood Publishing. And so those 5 directors will be joining our remaining existing directors when the new board's formed next week. The new directors take place on April 1st, and it runs through March 30th of 2027. That's how the 2-year terms run. It's a little confusing, but it's really not. It's just John talking, and that's confusing. But I mentioned Team Retail's a slightly different plan. They have 7 directors, which are actually officers. And they have currently on the board directors Jamie Matthey and John Coviello. John Coviello is termed off of Team Retail as an officer. He was emeritus this year for his final year. And so Team Retail will be appointing a new individual to be on the board of directors, which we'll know shortly. But this year they had 3 of their officers up. And positions were elected were Jay with Black Knight Games from Hamilton, Ontario, Miriam with the Game Chest in California at several locations, and then John with Telescape Games out of Colorado. And so Team Retail will meet, and they will decide who will be their second representative on the board of directors. Jamie will continue in his 2-year term, and then he'll be joined by another retailer shortly. The new board will then convene in April for their first meeting, which then will have officer elections per our bylaws. And for the next year, we'll figure out who the officers are, and then the board will move forward from that. So again, it seems a little complicated, but it's not really. It's just, again, John's talking. And then lastly, people have been asking what's going on with both the retailer box and the video seminar videos that we recorded at GAMA Expo at the end of February. And so we're on track to release those. We had to go through and validate the stores who attended the premier presentations, the codes, when they registered and all that. And so that list has been sent to Bridge distribution. They're working on that, and the shipment should be commencing this week. We will send a notice out to all the retail members once that does start. And so we should be seeing in the next week or two, getting your boxes, and hopefully you'll be posting on social that you received it, so we know it's happening. If you haven't heard from either Bridge or from us over the next few weeks, please reach out to us, and we'll see what's happening, see if you're on the list, and it goes from there. And then lastly, we recorded about 50 plus seminars during GAMA Expo this year with a lot of videos, and it took us a while to go through them. And so we are on track to release those next week of March 31st. The date's still kind of tenuous. We'll know a little bit more once we finish the upload. But GAMA is actually rolling in a new resource hub where they'll be hosted. It's a members only area because it is a member benefit. There's no charge to use this if you're a GAMA member, but there'll be about 50 videos on there, some resource documents. There will be some toolkits on there, PDFs, copies of all our webinars, and this will be a central repository for you to find membership directory, all those great things. And so we're hoping we will be launching this in April, and it'll be a nice resource for our membership. So again, it's a lot we're covering this week. Again, if you're on the road and joining us, if you're in those areas, please meet with our staff, or if not, if you're a retailer, look for the email soon from us or from Bridge. There we go, in the retail box shipment. And then again, we'll also put a notice in the members newsletter, which goes out every week with an update of the video release schedule. So that's it for me this week. I'm heading off the airport here shortly to fly to DC, and I'll be posting updates while I'm there about how it's going with legislators and talking about tariffs and other things. So thanks for being a member of GAMA and interested in what we're doing, and we'll talk to you all soon. Take care now. Bye.